Ladies and gents, how are you doing? We're going to start today's video with some culture. It's a nice poem read here by the only party leader who can easily fit a bin lid through the middle of his two front teeth. It's called British, and it reads like the good-natured but woefully misinformed rabblings of a 5-year-old child. Have a listen.
I went to Handsworth in Birmingham the other day. It was absolutely appalling. It's as close as I've come to a slum in this country.
Add lots of Norman French to some Angles, Saxon, Jutes and Vikings, then stir vigorously. Mix some hot Chileans, cool Jamaicans, Dominicans, Trinidadians and Bajans, with some Ethiopians, Chinese, Vietnamese and Sudanese. Then take a blend of Somalians, Sri Lankans, Nigerians and Pakistanis, and turn up the heat. Sprinkle some fresh Indians, Malaysians, Bosnians, Iraqis and Bangladeshis, together with some Palestinians. Then add to the melting pot. Leave the ingredients to simmer. As they mix and blend, allow their languages to flourish, binding them together with English. Allow time to be cool. Add some unity, understanding and respect for the future. Serve with justice and enjoy.
Good that, wasn't it? Poem, just reeling off 60 countries and then saying mix them all together and everything will be great. Well, it won't, will it? Because all those countries that he's mentioned get to actually exist in 100 years' time. He's like Lenny Henry, him. I can't believe he stole a living for 50 years calling himself a poet. That was absolute drivel. Anyway, it leads us nicely into today's video because I want to cover a story that I read today and then ask Mr. Zephania, or at least the people who see the world as delusional, completely deranged way, I'll ask them a simple question. You want to see the story? It's from the Telegraph. 3 asylum seekers surprise sex a woman on Brighton Beach. An Iranian man and 2 men from Egypt remanded to appear at Lewes Crown Court next month in connection with the October 4th attack. There we go. So my question to Mr. Polanski and everybody who sees the world the same way as him is very simple. How do you get Iranian and Egyptian men with very, very, very different attitudes towards interactions between the sexes? I.e., people like myself and yourself and everybody born and raised in the West think that women shouldn't be chained to the sink in a burqa, getting bummed by a bloke old enough to be the granddad, right? And they think they should. I want you to tell me why you think reading them a whimsical poem talking about a melting pot that doesn't exist is going to somehow convince men born and raised in third world countries to not donkey one in to young women for the crime or perceived crime of walking down the street with your ankles showing. Write me a poem about that. Okay, Crime Watch is going to have to wait because there was so much crime this week, I couldn't cover it all. So I just picked the best one. This is horrific, as usual. And as usual, the people that are seeking asylum are from anywhere. Why are Egyptians asylum seekers? People go on holiday to Egypt. It's one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world. You can't just rock up in England from any country you want and say, I'm an asylum seeker, I'm seeking asylum, because, I don't know, I want a free council house. Well, you can, but you shouldn't, is the point I'm trying to make. As you might expect from men who hail from a region where ramming your relatives is perfectly reasonable. Hey, that was a good bit of alliteration, that, wasn't it? Nothing wrong with reasonably ramming your relatives. Anyway, yeah, they all look like none of them would be out of place in a futuristic sci-fi dystopia like Wandering the Wasteland in Judge Dredd. That's what they look like. So we obviously gave them all a council house. Brilliant. The story reads, 3 asylum seekers have been accused of really ruining a young lass's weekend in Brighton. Karin Al-Danasert, Ibrahim Al-Sheif are from Egypt, and they're staying in the nice expensive hotel in West Sussex. They were also charged alongside Abdullah Ahmadi, a 25-year-old Iranian. All I can say is, I'm sure these 3 will help porridge-brained communist poets craft their next whimsical piece of work no end as they enrich this island story via the medium of unwanted baby batter. The 33-year-old woman said she was attacked on the Lower Esplanade in Brighton at 5 a.m. on Sunday after leaving a nightclub. Well, you deserve it if you go nightclubbing, don't you? These boys are taking us back to the 1960s. Ooh, you shouldn't have had a short skirt on, love. Case dismissed. Mr Aldanasert and Mr Alshafe appeared at Crawley Magistrates Court, charged with 2 counts of diddling. Both confirmed their names and dates of birth through an Arabic interpreter. There you go, costing us a bit more money before being remanded. And they're getting 3 squares a day on your dime as well. Fantastic. Mr Ahmadi lives in Crewe. I was obviously on holiday then, and he confirmed his name and date of birth through a Kurdish interpreter. Christ on a bike. I'll tell you what, if you're worried about your kids getting employment after they leave school, get them learning Urdu or Arabic or Kurdish. They'll never be short of work. It's probably going to be the only work in the UK in about 8 years' time. No need for bricklayers or plumbers because they never build any houses. But the laws of economics state that there will always be more work for Kurdish interpreters because every week a few thousand more of them move in. Then, as usual, the story ends with a detective superintendent brainwashed by the College of Policing to only ever see immigrants and violent migrant men with big floppy cocks as a boon to the United Kingdom, gives us some trite, pointless sentences about blah blah commending blah blah specialists, as if saying a nice thing about the victim and then pointing out that they're sending them specialist officers will somehow mean that she doesn't have a fanny like a chainsaw wound in a silverback shoulder blade. I'm sick of reading that sentence though, all jokes aside. Every single one of them they have to put in there. Oh, we continue to support them with specialist officers. Have you noticed that? It's like they're all working off a script. Every single day now, you see some horrific atrocity being meted out by a third world man to some poor, innocent, young English, Scottish, Irish or Welsh, don't want to miss anyone out, woman, native inhabitant of the British Isles. And then you have to endure the same sentence like a carbon copy from some jumped up lefty copper saying, oh, we commend the victim and we're sending them specialist officers, as if that makes a difference. Like a really, really, really well-trained left-wing police officer can unbum you. It's unbelievable. I think these people get over it because they have a cup of tea and a chat with a lefty wanker who says, oh, but it's all worth it for the island story. It isn't worth it for the island story. I don't know anyone who isn't outraged by what's gone on in the last 10 years. I don't know anyone. If you were to stop 1,000 18 to 80-year-old men in the street in England and ask them, do you think things have gone the right way the last 10 years with regards to immigration? 90% of them would say, fuck no. And yet we don't do anything about it. We keep importing them. We keep not deporting them. And the women and girls of England keep getting their bones jumped by a collection of genetic deadwood who, if they went on a date with the Elephant Man, would be playing second fiddle to Mr. Merrick the entire time. This is what we're dealing with. It's unbelievable. Nobody supports it. But you're living in an authoritarian hellscape, so it doesn't matter what you want, and it doesn't matter if your grandkids leave a snail trail down the drive when they come home after a night out because some bloke rogered them in a graveyard against their will. This is what's going on. It's staggering. And I don't know what I don't know what to do about it. Other than forcing your wife and kids into chastity belts, arming them with tasers, and making sure they've got a Bully XL if they have to nip to Morrison's, I don't know what the solution is in the short term, because the androgynous android himself is running the UK. And the Home Secretary, who's supposed to be looking after your safety, still works part-time as a fluffer for ISIS. So I don't know what you're going to do. You're knackered, aren't you? But anyway, that's just me. That's my opinion. If you disagree and think all's fine and dandy, please let me know in the comments. I won't be doing a stream tomorrow because it's the weekend and I'm doing things. So I'll probably knock one out in a couple of hours. Okay, be there or be square. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Toodle pip. Cheers.